Good morning, everyone. Let's start our Tuesday class with some prayers. Om Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parbrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Bhu Bhavaswaha, Tatsavitra Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi, Diyo Yo Naha Prachodayat. Asto Ma Satya. Tamso ma jyotirgamya mrityorma amritam gamya om sehnavavatu sehnabhunaktu saviryam karvavahi tejasvi navadhitamastu ma vidvishavahi om shanti 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 om. Today is our Mahabharata class. So we are on our second book and page number 59. Not land to cover the point of needle. And who said that? Duryodhana did. Even though rightfully Pandavas, they were the kings. Yudhishthira was the king. He was the eldest. But they were defeated, sent to exile. Now they are back and they are supposed to get their Indraprastha back. And Duryodhana said, no. Let's see how it's written over here in Mahabharata. Duryodhana saw his father terrified, and he rose in sorrow. Why are you so afraid, my lord? The news Sanjay brings about the Pandav army is nothing new to me. I am aware they have a vast and powerful host, but our cousins have been in exile for 13 years, while we have prepared for war. Father, do you think me a fool that I am not aware of what we are going into? No, I remember my own anxiety of 13 years ago when Dariki, Drupad and Dhyuman went to meet Yudhishthir in the Kamyak Van. They had mustered an army for him. They saw the Pandavas wearing deer skin and tree bark, and they told Yudhishthir to march on Hastinapura straight away and take back his kingdom. If we had listened to them, we would have been finished. For then all the kings of the earth were against us. This little kern was my side. I heard an army had gathered near the Kamyak Aranya, and I was afraid. I went to Acharya Drona and I said, what will we do if they attack us now? Drona said, don't be afraid, Duryodhana, any one of us, Bhishma, Krip or I can defeat them. When he took the princesses of Kashi, your Pitamaha vanquished an army by himself. With Bhishma on your side, you need never fear. My lord, even when the Pandav had all the kings of Bharatvarsh with them and we had none, Drona said we would beat them. Today I have more friends than they do, and I have nurtured my friendship. Our cousins have been in the wilderness for 13 years, and they have been all but forgotten. They are like some dim memory now, their power barely real anymore. If they have 7 Akshonis, I command 11. Moreover, most of those who will fight for them are their own blood, which is seldom any guarantee for having the best warriors. He paused, and his lips curled. As for Bhima, Father, I am a veteran ace fighter. I have spent hours every day perfecting my skills. Even when we were students, our Guru Balram would always say, Duryodhana is my best shishya. He is my equal. None of you others can touch him. Bhim knows I am better than he is, and so do Krishna and Arjun. As with everything else, my cousin is a crude mace fighter. He has brute strength, but few finer skills. I long to meet him on the field. I have loathed Bhim since we were boys. He always thought he and his brothers were superior to everyone else. I look forward to the moment when we come face to face and I smash his soft head like a melon. After Bhim is dead, even I will be able to kill Arjun. The Pandav's spirit will break and we will rip through them. As he spoke, Duryodhana paced the Sabha like a lion in his prime. Honor and morale were at stake here. This was as crucial a moment as the hour of battle. It was here in the Sabha that he could win the hearts of his own Kshatriyas. Here that he would exercise the specter of fear that Sanjay, Drona, and Bhishma had raised among the Kurus. Hearing his son so assured, Dhritarashtra stopped trembling. Duryodhan had not finished. And then, how can you be afraid when you think of our own army? Only a coward would predict defeat for us after he has seen my legions. The Kaurav's voice rose. My lord, Bhisham is with us. Bhisham of the awesome vow. Bhisham of the boon that death will come to him only when he summons it. It is Bhishma, just any man, that these Pandavas dare challenge us. He by himself can raise our cousins and their army, but we also have Drona. Was Drona born like an ordinary man? He is the Acharya of us all, and he fights on our side. No Shishya is greater than his Guru, not even Arjun. Shall Ashwathama, born by Shiva's grace, whom many say is an Ansh of Lord, be conquered in battle? Can Acharya Krip be defeated? No, these men could oppose the legions of Devlok. Yet, even having such heroes with us, we seek to set fear among ourselves. I say to you, the Pandav army will not defeat us, but we will vanquish ourselves before battle is even joined. Briefly, his face was dark. Then I have Karan with me. I know there are those in this Sabha who differ, but Parshuram Bhargav said that Karan is his equal. My Pitama says Karan is not powerful anymore because Indra came to him like a beggar and Karan gave the Dev his kavach and kuntal. But what Bhishma does not know is that Karan had something from Indra in return, something he would not have taken except for his love for me. Karan has Indra's Shakti. A murmur arose in the Sabha. Duryodhan cried, and yet, like women, we let fear rule us. Listen to me, all of you, my loving friends. Let me name some of the warriors who will fight on our side, and then decide if your hearts will quail at the thought of the Pandavas. Hear their names: Bhishma, who by himself would do for the enemy; Dron, Krip, Ashwathama, peerless Karan, Bahilik, Bridrat, Bhagdat, Shalya, Shal, Vind, Anuvind, Jayadrat, my 100 brothers led by my ferocious Dushashan, Shakuni, and I myself. I have 11 Akshanis against their 7. I ask you, should I spend sleepless nights as Sanjay wants in terror that we shall be defeated when my reason cries out that victory will be ours? No, I am no coward. I will not give in to the Pandavas. We will fight and I will win. There was some applause in the Kuru Sabha, especially from those close to Duryodhan. Dhritarashtra sat much straighter to his throne, and there was a proud smile on his lips as he listened to his masterful son. Sensing the tide of opinion turn in his favor, Duryodhan pressed on. Why should I tremble at the decrepit Virat's name when the tameless Trigrats are with me? Susharma smashed Virat's chariot and seized him. Susham will crush the old Matsya again for me. Will Arjun fight all the Trigrats by himself? Ah, my father, be at peace. Listen to your own counsel, as you always have, because you are wiser than those who presume to advise you. I tell you, I will win the war. Duryodhan went back to his place and sat down amidst loud cheering from all the Kurush Sabha, except Bhishma, Drona, Sanjay, and a few others. Dhritarashtra's fear had not left him entirely, and the king said, I have a last question for you, Sanjay. Tell me, are the sons of Pandu as confident as my son? Are they prepared for war? Do they also feel that victory will be theirs? Sanjay laughed. They are better prepared than we, but they are not eager for bloodshed as your son is. Yudhishthir begged me to prevent the war if I could. Shall I tell you what the Pandav said? Sanjay, go back and say to Duryodhan, because of you, cousin, we have suffered in exile beyond what you can imagine. More than anything, it is what you did to Panchali that we cannot forgive. But you are our blood and we do not want war with you. I only want my kingdom back. Why, Duryodhan, even if you don't give me back my kingdom, I still do not want this war. I shall be content with just 5 towns. Give me Indraprastha, Virakprastha, Jayant, Varanvrat, and a fifth of your choosing, and I will be satisfied. Why should we make war on each other? Let brothers live as brothers, and the fathers not be riven from their sons. The Kauravas and the Pandavas are one blood. Let us live in peace. Cousin, for the sake of peace, I will give up my kingdom. I have no wish to be the cause for 18 Akshonis slaughtering one another, but these 5 towns you must give me. Sanjay, I have no secrets. Look over our forces if you wish and see what they are. But then go back to Hastinapura and tell Bhishma and Dhritarashtra that if it is fought, this war shall be the end of the rule of the Kshatriyas on earth, regardless of who wins or loses. So I went among those legions. I spoke to Kshatriyas and common soldiers. I asked them who would be their Senapati, and I learned that it would not likely be Drishtadyumna. However, they have not decided yet, and there is to be a council to make the choice. But I did learn that their plans for war are carefully laid. They have even agreed among themselves which of them will kill which of us. Sinking swiftly back into field, Dhritarashtra whispered, "How is that?" Shikhandi has chosen Bhishma for himself. The Pitama felt a tremor as of fate. He saw Amba's face before his eyes. Sanjay knew the Pandav's plans well. To keep his vow, Bhim will hunt Duryodhan and his brothers. Arjun has marked Karan, Ashwathama, and Jayadratha. The KK brothers say they will kill their cousins who have joined Duryodhan. The Malavs and Shalvs will confront the Trigrats. Abhimanyu, who bears both Arjun's and Krishna's blood in his veins, has chosen the Koshal king Bridbal and Duryodhan's sons to be his prey. Drishtadyumna will stalk Drona and the Pandav's sons to help him. The fire-born prince swears he will kill the Acharya and fulfill his destiny. Satyaki is furious with Varman for joining Duryodhan and swears to kill him. Sahadev means to keep his oath and have Shakuni's life and Nakul's Ulaka. My lord, they are all well prepared for war. The 13 years of exile have strengthened their bodies and spirits. While your sons have lived in luxury's soft lap, the Pandavas have no doubt that since Dharam and Krishna are both with them, victory also shall be theirs. Once more, cold terror gripped Dhritarashtra. His voice unsteady, he said, "You are right, Sanjay. We shall all die if we don't give Yudhishthir back his kingdom." Duryodhana cried angrily, "My lord, how can you let fear move you so easily? It is the only way we can lose this war, and that is exactly what the Pandavas intend to frighten you with their cunning talk of peace and dharma. Can't you see they are afraid? Here they are agreeing to settle for just 5 towns, and you speak of us losing the war to them. But after last night's encounter with Vidur and Sanat Sujata, Dhritarashtra was not convinced by his son. Weak with fear, he said, "War is a great evil, as Yudhishthir says. How can we think of sacrificing so many lives for our selfishness, our greed? It is not dharam that we keep a kingdom that belongs to Pandu's sons. Duryodhan, listen to me. I speak from love. Neither you nor I will profit from keeping what is not ours. Turn away from evil. It is still not too late. The world will praise us, and we shall have our honor back. It is harder to seek peace at this stage, I know. But just think, Duryodhan, all these kings gathered here who have come with their armies because they love you. In their hearts, they would much rather not fight this war. If you make peace with the sons of Pandu, every one of these Kshatriyas will bless you." Duryodhan sprang up and cried furiously, "Very well. None of these kings need stay and fight for me. Let them all leave and take their legions with them. No one here need fight for me. I have Dushashan and I have Karan. The three of us are enough to demolish the Pandav army. Hear me clearly, my lord, all of you, I will never return their kingdom to the Pandavas. Not all of it, not 5 towns, not 5 villages. Why? I will not give them land to cover the point of a needle. I have heard enough. Craven talk of peace. I want no peace with them. I want war. I have always wanted war with my cousins. I want to see them dead. Silence fell on the Sabha. In a lower voice, Duryodhan went on. Of course, Yudhishthir wants peace, but not for any reason of dharma, as he makes out. He wants peace because he's afraid. He begs me for just 5 towns. I can easily give him what he asks, but if I give him even a speck of earth, I would be admitting that he's right and I am wrong. Once I used to admire Yudhishthir. I thought he was wise, that he was able, and now he sends word begging 5 towns to escape fighting a war. Yudhishthir, who was lord of the earth, exile has broken his spirit, if he ever had any. These Pandavas are cowards, and I do not respect them anymore. They are not fit to rule one village, let alone 5 towns or a kingdom. I will give them nothing except battle. Vidura rose and said, do you believe Yudhishthir is a fool because he is gentle? Haven't you noticed for which towns he has asked? He doesn't for a moment believe you will give him what he asks. He knows you will refuse and there will be war. But by naming just these towns, he's reminding you and the wise men of the Sabha of the trail of the Pandavas suffering. First, Parman Koti, where Duryodhan, you poisoned Bhim and pushed him into the river. Varan Vrat, where you had Purochan build the house of Lakh. Indraprasth, the wasteland you gave them. Dhritarashtra as their patrimony. Jayant, Duryodhan, you have not forgotten the Sabha you built in envy of the Maya Sabha. After you came home from the Rajsuya, the Sabha that was your pretext for calling the Pandavas to Hastinapura for the game of dice. The trail that led to exile. Are you so dull that you can't see what Yudhishthir is saying to you? He says, after all you have made us suffer, you say I must be patient. Who is there as patient as I am? But now the 5th town I leave to your choice. If you do not give me Indraprasth, I shall take Hastinapur. If you don't give me back my kingdom, we will have war. Dhritarashtra breathed. He is not afraid but angry. Arjun befriended Agni Dev when the Khandav one burned. The god of fire will help the Pandavas against us. Arjun fought his father Indra for Agni's sake, and now Agni will burn the Kauravas to repay his debt. Have we all lost our wits that we forget who the sons of my brother Pandu truly are? They are no blood of ours, but Devputras. Won't Dharam, Indra, Vayu, and the Ashwins help their natural sons? They are gods. How will we resist them? Why Varun has already given Arjun the Gandhir? Dhritarashtra was beside himself, almost raving. When Bhima met his brothers on the mountain, Hanuman swore he would sit on Arjun's banner. The gods are with the Pandavas and we are on the side of darkness. We have no hope of winning this war. My sons will all die. No, we do not want this war with the Pandavas. We must give back his kingdom to Yudhishthir. Duryodhan was on his feet, roaring, Father, how can you be so sure the Devas are with the Pandavas? The gods are indifferent to our petty quarrels. They have no attachments or enmities in earthly affairs. We are too far beneath them. If Indra, Vayu, Dharam, and Ashwins were concerned, would they have waited before avenging them? 13 years is a long. Perhaps, as you say, they have Dharam with them. But shall we fear them just for that? Dharam is with me as well. I have been a good king. Our people will tell you as much. The rains fall in season over our kingdom, and my subjects are not poor or unhappy. Ask my friends, they will tell you, I am loyal and loving. How can the gods judge a king like me harshly? No Dev is against us. Be certain that we shall win this war. With that and sudden tears stinging his eyes, Duryodhan walked out of the father's court. The next moment, Karan was up and had followed his friend. Then, in a show of solidarity, the other kings and princes all stood up as a man and went after the Kaurav. Slowly, Bhishma and Drona also left. Dhritarashtra was left alone with Sanjay. The king sat in his throne, sobbing. A second council in Upaplavya, and that's where the Lord Krishna is and the Pandavas are. Meanwhile, some days after Sanjay left, Yudhishthir called another council in Upaplavya. He said to Krishna in that sabha, "You heard Dhritarashtra's message, my lord. My uncle does not intend to return my kingdom to me. The man who should be a father to us is like a thief instead. I fear there will be war. How else do two Kshatriyas resolve their enmity? Will you go to Hastinapur, Krishna, to sue one in last time for peace?" Krishna said quietly, "I will, and if I can achieve the impossible and make peace between the Pandavas and the Kauravas, why my fame will live forever. No one shall be more pleased than I if the kings of the earth give up their hubris and save themselves from death." Yudhishthir had a second thought. Duryodhan can't be trusted. There is no telling what he may do. And if anything were to happen to you, Krishna? Krishna smiled. Yes, they may try to harm me. Duryodhan, his brothers, and their uncle Shatani. Men like these will stoop to anything. And if they do, Yudhishthir, I will save you the trouble of a war. I will kill them all. He said this so simply, and somehow no one doubted he would do as he said. Krishna continued, "Don't fear for me. I am in no danger, though I feel sure my mission will be in vain. We all heard Dhritarashtra's message. He does not want peace, perhaps because Duryodhan gives him no choice in the matter. Dhritarashtra is a coward. Left to himself, would not fight, but his son would rather die than see you back on the throne of Indraprastha. But you are a Kshatriya, Yudhishthir. How can you ask for peace after you heard Dhritarashtra's message? How can you still have feelings for these monsters? Or think of them as your relatives? They have never requited of love you have for them. They are not your blood, who treat you with such hatred and contempt. A Kshatriya has no kinsmen, Yudhishthir, only friends and enemies. These are your enemies. Not for a moment have they thought of you as a nephew or a cousin, not the elders of Hastinapur. I say they deserve death for what they have done. The court of Hastinapur is a nest of serpents. It needs to be burned with fire. In that city today, you have just the hollow name of Kuru. The rest is an illusion. The one you so fondly call your grandfather, Bhishma. Won't he be the first to face you in war? What Pitama is he to you? He will fight for Duryodhan. Krishna saw the sadness in his cousin's face, and he shook his head and sighed. Ah, Yudhishthir, I can't fathom you. What weakness or strength makes you reach out again to these sinners with an offer of peace? For myself, I will tell you why I'm going to Hastinapur. It is not that I believe there is any possibility of peace. No, I am going to tell the people of that city and the kings who have allied themselves to Duryodhan about you. I want the world to realize how noble you are and how vile Duryodhan and his blind father. Let the people know that you will accept peace if they give you even 5 towns. Let them know how arrogant Duryodhan is, that he will not give you even these. I am going to Hastinapur so the truth may be preserved in the hearts of common men. Dhritarashtra and Duryodhan will never tell their people the truth of what happened between the Kauravas and the Pandavas. Already the blind one seeks to make a villain of you with the message he sent through Sanjay. While I am away, cousin, prepare for war and let war begin as soon as I return. Yudhishthir bent his head and said, I leave our lives in your hands, Krishna. You always know what is best for us. I see omens of war everywhere I turn. The birds of night are awake all day, as if in terror, and those of day sing at midnight. Wolves come out of their forests and howl at the cities of men. Elephants and horses run from jungle to jungle in strange panic, as if seeking a sanctuary that exists nowhere on earth anymore. Let us not deceive ourselves. There will surely be war, and we must be prepared for it. There was a brief silence, while every king in that sabha was so absorbed in his own thoughts that no one noticed Bhim squirming in his place. Suddenly the son of the wind said, Krishna, I will be happy if you can make peace between the Pandavas and the Kauravas. We do not want the sin of killing our cousins on our conscience. Don't try and frighten Duryodhan by saying how powerful we are. He is proud and obstinate. He will not be intimidated, but gentler persuasion may succeed. I agree with you, Dishtar, that we must do everything in our power to have peace. Otherwise, 100 kings will die. Thousands of Kshatriyas and countless common soldiers. Think of their wives and children. War is a calamity that we must avoid if we possibly can. Arjun, I am sure you understand what I mean and you agree with me. All that council, especially Bhim's brothers, stared at him in amazement. Then Krishna began to laugh. Golden laughter ringing through the morning. He cried, Bhim, are you really saying this? You want peace? Until last night we heard of nothing but the war from you. How long you have waited for it? You told us how you would tear out Dushashan's heart and smash Duryodhan's thigh. You said you had not slept properly these last 13 years. But the shame you had to swallow. Some of us have seen you wriggling like an angry serpent in Yudhishthir's grasp. We have seen you sit apart from your brothers in the jungle as if you carried an insupportable burden. I heard people say that Bhim had gone mad in his frustration. Yet you sat alone, smoldering like a fire covered with ashes, your brow knit, talking to yourself, your hands sweating as you clenched and unclenched them. Then you would jump up with a growl, pull up a tree, dash it on the ground, and begin to cry and laugh at once. You would shout, the lotus may bloom on the peak of ice, the sun may rise in the west, but I will keep my vow. I will break Duryodhan's thigh where he dared call Panchali to sit. You would brandish your mace and roar so the forest echoed with your wrath. Is this the same Bhim who is faint-hearted as a woman today at the very thought of war? Who begs me to go and sue the Kauravas for peace because he balks at the thought of blood? Ah, Bhim, you are the raft on which your brothers will cross over the sea of misfortune. But if you turn coward, I dread to think what will become of the others. Krishna saw his words went home. He saw Bhim's eyes become red as plums at the word coward. It was as Krishna intended. It would never do if Bhima became soft at this time. The Dark One continued, think back, Bhim. Remember the shame of the game of dice. Remember the long anguish of exile. Remember you are a Kshatriya and the men you have sworn to kill are sinners. Put aside this womanliness, harden your heart against these affections. Peace. You talk of peace? You whom peace does not suit at all. You are a Kshatriya, Bhim, every fiber of you. What peace can be yours until you kill them all? What has happened to you that you are afraid now? Bhim sprang up and cried, you wronged me, Krishna. How can you accuse me of being a coward? When the war begins, you will see if Bhim is afraid. Not Indra himself will save Duryodhan and his brothers when these hands lay hold of them. Look at my hands, Krishna. Aren't they made just for war? Look at this body. He was trembling. Wild elephants shall not stand before him when he takes the field with his mace. I only pitied those who would face me in battle, their families whom I will bereave, and you call me a coward? He smote his chest and roared as the Sabha shook. Bhim is no coward, Krishna. Never, never. Krishna took his hand. That is the Bhim we know. This is no time for softness. We are on the brink of war, and you are the greatest force we have, our strongest warrior, more than any of the others. We rely on you. If you turn to fine feelings now, what will become of the rest? Who doesn't know what Bhim is no coward, but the bravest Kshatriya on earth. I only said what I did because I want Bhim to be himself. He embraced his cousin. Never fear, there will be a war. Nothing will stop, and you will have your revenge. I swear you will wash your shame and your anger in streams of blood. Don't speak of peace anymore. There will be no peace but war. Bhim gave a growl of satisfaction and sat down. Now Krishna turned to the third Pandav. And Arjun said, I agree with you, Krishna. Duryodhan will never accept peace. He has gone too far down the way of sin. I feel we should not compromise Yudhishthir's dignity while suing for peace. Then he smiled. But finally, only what you want will come to pass, my lord. All this is just your Maya. If you are determined there shall be peace between us cousins, then peace there will be, and even Duryodhan will do what you ask. But if you decide there should be war, and the earth's burden removed, as the rishis say you have, so it shall be. Whatever it is, we will walk the path you choose for us happily. Krishna laughed. Arjun, I wish it were as simple as that. I will do my best to convince Duryodhan that we should have peace, not war. And I will not bargain with Yudhishthir's dignity, but there's no other miracle I can work. Like you, I fear Duryodhan has gone too far down the way of evil to turn back willingly. He is hardly master of himself or his own fate anymore. He is an instrument of other sinister forces. They will not relent, even if Duryodhan wants to. But I will go to Hastinapur to clear Yudhishthir's name with the people because he is the noblest man alive. Krishan turned to Nakul, who said in a soft voice, the thoughts of men are like the shapes of clouds in the sky, always changing. When we were in the jungle or on our Tirath Yatra, we did not think much of a kingdom. When we first came to Virat for the Agyatwas, we thought only of not being recognized and of our exile's end. Now the 13 years are over and we are thinking of nothing but the kingdom, how we can win it back. Krishan, I think we should sue for peace. Speak gently to Duryodhan at first. If he does not listen, use strong words, threaten him. Tell him about the Kshatriyas who are with us. Duryodhan is just a man, like any other. He can be frightened into accepting peace on our terms. And when you are the messenger, Krishan, there is nothing that cannot be achieved. Krishan smiled and did not have time to turn to Sahadev before the youngest Pandav sprang up and cried, we must have war, Krishan. You must make certain we do. Let the Kauravas beg for peace if they like, but we must have war, and only war with them. What else can we want after what they did to Panchali in their Sabha? How can we think of peace for even a moment? I don't agree with my brothers. If Yudhishthir, Bhim, Arjun, and Nakul want peace, let them make shameful peace with those animals. I mean to fight. If I have to fight alone and to Duryodhan dead, tell him from me, Krishan, that Sahadev says he will die. If my brothers decide that virtue lies in seeking peace with Duryodhan, let them keep such virtue for themselves. I will fight and kill that devil. Satyaki jumped up and cried, I am with you, Sahadev. We shall have no peace with the Kauravas. Death is what Duryodhan deserves, and death he shall find. Krishan, you saw these Pandavas in the forest, wearing Valkal like beggars. How can you make peace with the men who reduce them to that? The Kauravas must die, every one. The Sabha resounded with the approval of the king's senate. Suddenly, Krishan turned his face to where the most beautiful woman on earth sat. Krishan asked gently, Panchali, what have you to say? Her lovely eyes were full of tears, and she rose without wiping them, so they fell down her face. Draupadi said fiercely, I bless Sahadev and Satyaki, who it seems are the only Kshatriyas in this Sabha, Krishan. You know everything that happened. I beg you, if you care at all for my honor, use no soft words with Duryodhan. Gentleness wins only good men, not fiends of hell. Hastinapur is a nest of demons. It must burn. I wonder that you can even ask me what I have to say. I want war, Krishna, a bloody war to avenge what I suffered on that terrible day and for 13 years after. I want every Kaurav killed. The elders who sat by, not lifting a finger to help me when I begged them to, I want to see them dead. I know Yudhishthir was always for peace at whatever cost to himself and his family, but when I hear Bhim, Arjun, and Nakul talking of peace today, I can hardly stand it. I want neither peace nor friendship with the Kauravas. If you love me at all, Krishna, if you ever felt sorry for what happened to me, make sure there is war between the Pandavas and the Kauravas. I must see my enemies lying dead on the field as carrion for jackals and vultures. She lost control of herself, convulsed with sobs. She took her hair hanging behind her like a dark serpent and brandished it at the court. I have not tied my hair since the day Dushashan dragged me by it. Look at my hair. All you kings, I carry it like a stain on my very soul, that the beast defiled it with his filthy hands. In the forest, Yudhishthir said to me that I must be patient for 13 years. I have waited 13 years, and only I know how long the wait has been. And now, what do I hear from Yudhishthir? Not a word of war or revenge, but again words of peace. And today I am amazed to hear Bhim talking of peace. Duryodhan was not mistaken when he called them cowards. How lofty it is to talk peace, but who will bring peace to my heart? For 13 years, every night, I was awake thinking of just one thing, the day I would see Dushashan's jeweled hand cut off and lying on the ground streaming blood. I will have no rest until I see that sight before my eyes. Krishna, think of me when you are in Hastinapura. For it was I who was dragged like a whore through the palace there. I who was shamed in front of all the Kurusabha. And I say to you, there is a fire burning in my heart, and the only cure for it is war. I beg you, Krishna, don't come back from that evil city without declaring war. And she stood trembling, while her tears flowed. Krishna said to her, as you cry today, Panchali, I swear the wives of the Kauravas shall weep very soon, but there will be no cure for their tears, because they will have lost everything. Not one Kaurav shall live. I have not forgotten what I promised you in the Kamnik one. I have come into the world for this war. His voice was wistful. The earth must be rid of her burden of kings, and so she shall. Dry your eyes, Panchali, let me see you smile. The 13 years of exile are over, I promise you, Yudhishthir will be lord of the earth again. Draupadi wiped her tears and smiled wanly at Krishna. He said, it is decided then, I will leave for Hastinapur tomorrow. Thus the second council at Upaplavya ended. The next morning dawned bright and auspicious, and Krishna was up early, the dark one bathed. He worshipped the sun and the fire and then called Satyaki. Prepare my chariot, Satyaki. See to it yourself that my weapons are in it. Duryodhan and his brothers are not to be trusted, and I must not let them find me unprepared. Now Yudhishthir came there and said, Satyaki, you must go with Krishna. I am reluctant to send him at all on this pointless mission, and I will not let him go alone. The chariot was ready, and all the Pandavas came to see Krishna and Satyaki on their way. Yudhishthir's last words to him were, give our mother our love, and tell her we shall soon be with her. Krishna embraced them all, and cheerful as ever, set out for the Kuru capital. Let's stop our reading here today. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you very much.